Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, you ready? Wow, recording practices. They've changed quite a bit. You know, back in the day, you had a two-room studio, and singer go in one room, the engineer out here, and it's well isolated. Today, sometimes I record right here by my console. I stand and punch myself in, punch it out. Of course, the room is set up that way as well, well isolated and baffled off. Even though I do have a singing booth over there, and you put 4 or 5 people in and do a nice thing. But it has changed quite a bit of how the techniques of recording. It's more computer generated drum machines and opposed to live playing. Like what I was doing a few minutes ago. Everything about it, the pattern has changed, the feel has changed. You're dealing now more with loops, wherein back in the day we didn't have loops. It was about you just had to do it over and be a master of your craft. To once you find that groove, to hang on to that groove, hold that groove, augment that groove, it's just all about the rhythm section that laid it down, because it all starts with the rhythm section. But today it's a whole different thing. I mean, you go to someone's song, as we've never done it, I've never done it, but I'm going to do it just because it's the thing to do. It's the sound, it's the feel. You go to someone's song, you find a 4-bar section or a 2-bar pattern or half a bar, and you take it and you make a loop out of it, and you create your feel off of that. I kind of like that too. I wish it sometimes I think about it, I wish it was that way back in the day, but it wasn't. And we got through it, and we sold over, I guess, 70-80 million records, and still selling today. So it's it's all good. It's very, very interesting. Unfortunately for me, the Commodores, we're still on the road a lot, more of a touring band, and we're about to enter into another project, of which I'll be doing some of the project right here in my studio. To do, some new music, fresh music, we don't really get a chance to see very much of how the industry, actually work. We hear about it, how producers actually work in the studios, how the engineers actually work in the studios, or the instrumentation that they're using. We really don't get a chance to see, very much of that. But we can imagine. Nevertheless, it all, comes out. It works good for them. So, pretty much. I know that the way I think a little bit new school, a lot new school, a little bit old school. Old school is just, for me, it's just going to show up naturally because I'm, back in that time, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But I try to keep up with what's on the market today, what's happening today, what is the feel today, what people want to hear today, and not get caught into yesterday and stay back into yesterday. It's all about today, and I want to stay fresh, new on the market. We live in. When I would say 10, 15 years ago, you hear the material that was coming out, you go, oh gosh, that's horrible. especially at the time with you were looking for that analog sound before a record started, and then the music it prepared you. When digital, the digital domain came along, all of a sudden it was this bang, dun, dun, dun. Wow, it scared the engineers, scared everybody. But for the better, because the artists today have used it, to according to their needs, and have brought us along, whether we like it or not. It's not going back. It really isn't going back. I mean, we've come through this phase of everything digital this, digital that, digital, firewire, and all of that work. But it's amazing that at the end of it, you go back and try to find those analog machines to bring that warmth back in to the music, because there is a difference there. That analog brings along that airy thing that you can't see. You don't even know you're listening to it, but it's there. When it's not there. That music can sound very sterile, without it. It adds warmth within the cosmos of the atmosphere of its own surrounding. It's just that thing of analog. So today, the way that they're doing it today, it fits today's description. And it also helped the new artists that's trying to get started. I mean, back when we had to go through all kinds of changes. I mean, gee whiz, trying to get the mic set up and going through I hated being the drummer of the group. I hated it because sometimes it take 2 hours. It would take 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get those drums right. Just the drums, right? But the recording that we got for our band at the time, for the Commodores, made the Commodores sound. It turned out to be incredible for the Commodores. And what made it incredible? We sold 80 million. 80 million records. Okay? So all of that is like, I now appreciate that. Today, I go into my computer, find a nice kit, fine-tune the kit the way that I want it, sit here and play it manually. Sometime I'll, and I'm thinking about 1 or 2 of the cuts I want to play live again. Go back and on the new album that we're trying to put together, and play live. Do it live. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I went, no, I don't want to do that anymore. Because for me, I'll say that I hated recording. I was a drummer. I had to do it. That was capturing the feel of the Commodores. I didn't play like other drummers, other studio session drummers. It was like so smooth. And it was like, man, boy, the patterns, oh, gee whiz, how do they do that? When I saw it. But, and I tried writing, I would score some of the songs out that we were doing because it was hard to remember 12 songs that had no lyrics. When we only wrote the tracks, the music first. Made it up, that is the way it was done. I tried writing out the, I would actually write out some of the, the turnarounds and how many bars and all of that, and what the kick was doing, snare, hi-hat, and the whole 9 yards, and sit it over my tom. And producer Carmichael came over once, Brother Clyde, what is that you're doing? What is that you have? I said, well, just, over on my, just a little music. Right here. He said, pass that to me, and walked away with my music. He said, I want you to play it from here, play it from your heart. So, the way that they're doing it today, you don't have to remember drum pattern. You get a 4-bar loop, 8-bar loop, cut it up, slice it, dice it, put it in place. It works for today's world, and I don't like working in today's world. I do, but I am going to throw a little old school back up into the mix. Oh, that's very interesting. When I get an idea, the first thing I reach for is down here on the floor is my tape recorder. Okay? I do it the same way. If I turn on that tape recorder, I have that idea, and I don't care if it's going dum 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 dum. This is the guitar part. Dum 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 dum. The bass part will be dum 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 dum. Now the drum's gonna be, then I play it back. Then I go to the keyboard and try to figure that out. Okay, so I'm not a keyboard player, but I can play a few chords here and a few chords there, and I can play a bass line, give me a 4-bar pattern. I'll practice it for an hour, come back, play it, put it down, and when you put it together, you know, it comes out right. I still do it that way. Sitting down trying to score, and let that happen, you know, with the guy that's doing the transcription of it. I'd still do it the way that we did it back in the 70s. Okay, that is the way that we brought our music in. No one really came in with anything already written. We just had parts, and we had a rhythm section that, oh, let's make something out of that. You know, zoom, made up on the spot. Brick house, made up on the spot. I didn't know I was going to play that. Being that it took 2 hours to set up to get the sound in the first place. Oh, that's pretty good. Let me do that. And it was just being creative on the spot. And that sometimes is your best moments in life, when you are that way. And that's with anything that you do. In music, outside of music, your personal life. Just being creative, and that's what I am. But rely on my brain to remember stuff? No, I don't. I used to have my little tape recorder so I can put my ideas down. So many times, I'd be sitting out on the lanai and out in the back by the pool and come up with some great the drum patterns, because I'm always humming drum, you know. Now come on, let me get, by the time I get to my kit, what was that? No. Take that tape recorder. So when I come, I have one in my pocket. Basically, you usually keep one in my pocket, a little tape recorder. Put that idea down, you don't forget it, take it and implement, because I know what that cop means, or that doom. I know what that doom represents, what instrument. That's what I do.
Awesome.